Hi guys, here we are again documenting the journey of starting my own business, and this is the second video. I would like to start the video by mentioning something I saw on the Joe Rogan show, where I actually don't remember the guy who was reading this quote, but it was a quote from Charles Bukowski, if I didn't butcher his name, and basically he is saying go all the way. So go all the way. When you want to do something, go all the way. Don't hesitate. Don't do it half-ass. Don't be afraid, because either you do it all the way or there is no sense in doing it. There's no meaning in doing it if you don't really put everything you have in that thing. So I would actually encourage you, if you are starting something, to just search on YouTube, go all the way, and it will come up. It's like a 1.5 minute video where a guy is reading a quote where it says go all the way. And of course there is more to it, but something that is really stuck with me all the time when I'm hesitating about doing something that has to do with my work. That part always come up, go all the way. And last time when we talked, I talked about how, for example, public exposure is something that I am thinking about, even though I'm putting videos on many social medias now, which is like YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram, and even TikTok I started with actually. Still, there's some sort of public exposure phobia that's going on inside of me, where I'm thinking, maybe this will not go well. Maybe I will put myself out there and it will still be like a failure, and people will look at me and say, I know you tried, but it didn't go well. Yeah, whatever. And I don't think like that's something that I can just accept and manage. So I'm trying to understand my emotions. I'm trying to win over this situation with myself, probably it's an ego thing actually, which is not even probably, I'm pretty sure it's an ego thing, because of course every one of us has an ego, and we sometimes let it win and sometimes we try to win over it. So right now I'm trying really to win over my ego and just let things go. And one thing that has helped me during this time is this quote with like, go all the way. Either you do it or you don't. There is no, I'm gonna do it 50%, I'm gonna do it 70%. You need to do it the whole way. So that's what I'm at right now. I'm really thinking about what is even all the way. Like, should I just start putting even more content on social media? Should I don't know, start advertising for my products that are not even built? But like Daniel, I mentioned Daniel Priestley last time in my video. I listened to him a lot, and he's always talking about you need to see if there is a market need for your products before you even create the product. So maybe I should start there. I'm actually focusing right now on my visibility on social media. That's what I'm focusing on. So I have not thought about the product side yet, even though I am thinking about the products that I'm working on, but still not to the level where I have started marketing them. Yeah, so this journey is very complicated actually. It's not that easy. And the thing is, when you're doing everything yourself, the idea of having so many things to do can be very heavy actually to feel and understand and work with, because I come from a background where I have worked in high positioned jobs, and I understand a lot about business in some way. Of course, I have not run a really successful business before. I have had some businesses, but not to the level where I really run the whole thing and it's like a big corporate or anything. So my idea is that you need marketing, you need product, you need customer service, you need to have social media presence, you need to manage all of this and organize and create processes for it, because you need to do that in the beginning before you go into the scaling phase, and then you start with the process. That's a mistake actually. You should start from the beginning. But yeah, trying to do all of that alone, while I also understand how much work is that, is actually a heavy idea. And it's very complex, because you know you have to do certain things, but which part of it you should focus on right now? So right now for myself, I have chosen to prioritize a certain thing, which is my personal brand. So what I'm trying to really put a lot of time on right now is to be visible on social media. Between professionals on LinkedIn, I am putting some shorts and some videos on YouTube. I have my own thing on Instagram and trying with TikTok. So it's visibility that I'm seeking right now. And I have seen and I have heard from a couple of like business influencers that you need first to build that visibility, to build that personal brand between your peers and in your environment before you start to market your products. So I have heard like a thumb rule where you need to do that for 6 months. Of course, on daily basis, you need to be present, you need to be visible. And then after 6 months, you start to announce, I am going to have a product in 2 months, guys. Anyone interested? Here's the waiting list. But before that, you are not really that visible, and maybe you should focus on creating your personal brand. That's what I have learned until now, and that's what I'm trying to do, which actually makes sense. When people start to feel that they know you, they can trust you with the information you're providing, then when you say, I have a product, okay, it's kind of logical that they will try to see if it's something for them. But if it's just a random guy just talking and saying, I have a product, the biggest possibility would be that no one would care. They would just like swipe by it if it's like an advertisement on a social media app or something. Yeah, so that's what I'm at right now. I am really in the go all the way phase where I am really trying to understand, first of all, what is all the way to start with, actually. And from that, how much is all the way? Like, should I, like I said, put even more content on social media? Should I create more products? Should I try even to meet more people to understand what is going on in the market? What is all the way? But I am at that right now. Let's not talk about it even more. So I'm trying to figure it out, prioritizing my work, daily work and monthly work, so I understand what is the goal, what I need to hit. And things are rolling, but of course, it is still slow and it's a lot of work to do right now. So let's see how it goes. Yeah, talking about priorities, there's actually one very important thing here to mention. If you're going to start doing something like this, especially if you, like me, have dedicated your time for it, you will have so many ideas popping up the whole time. Oh, this is a good idea I could work on, or this is a good partnership I can enter, or this is a good product I can see if I can sell, or something like that. You will have so many ideas the whole time to think about and work with, and they will be popping up. And the challenge actually is, in my head and what I have seen, the challenge is not to find a good product or a good idea to work on. The challenge is to focus on one good idea or good product and work on that as much as you can. Because honestly, I am getting ideas the whole time about products and about partnerships I can do. But the thing is, how should I do that with the time I have? Like, everyone has those 24 hours and I need to sleep and eat and then still work. And what I'm doing right now is taking the majority of the day. So how will I do even more? So I have dedicated actually my time to social branding, to create my personal brand on social media. And then also I am working on my courses a little bit, to be honest. I'm not putting so much work right now on it because, like I said, my time is limited and the social media content is taking a lot of time from me. But I am putting some time on it. And then there is another idea that I'm working with a partner on it. So yeah, in the beginning phase, you will have so many ideas popping up, so many ideas in front of you. If you see it on social media, or a friend comes to you and says, let's work on this, or like from an old colleague that can contact you and tell you there is an idea we can work on. So many ideas. The biggest mistake to do is to try to multitask. Take it from someone who comes from the corporate world. I know, and I have been a coach for a lot of high positioned people. Multitasking is not a good thing. It's a myth that we can multitask. It has been scientifically proven that you need at least half an hour to ramp up again from when you were working on something, you got distracted and you started to work on something else, or you just working on something, got distracted and going back to work on the same thing, is still the ramp up time until you are at that same state of mind where you were, that focus you had before you got distracted. It will take you at least half an hour. So the idea of multitasking when you're working on this project and this project and this project and you jump between them is really not a good thing. So I have seen very high effective people work on three things at the same time, but what they do is they divide their day. So they know the first part of the day is for example, when I worked with an executive, he had the first part of the day doing his executive work, making executive decisions, because then the brain is primed to make decisions and analyze and calculate fast. When it was time for his creative work, he did that after lunch. After lunch, he did that for a couple of hours when it was like they were stuck at something and he needed to brainstorm or have a workshop or sit in a meeting and try to come up with ideas or solutions. He did that after lunch. Before lunch, he only had that time for executive decisions and executive work. After that, he had 2 hours for creative work. And then after that, like the last 2-3 days of the day, he had it for meetings, he had it for answering emails and stuff like that, to end the day in a more calmer way for the brain as well, to ramp down. So that's the most effective way I have seen someone do multitask, which is still not multitasking actually, because he was an executive in one company where he was driving that company. But that division he had for the tasks per day, three things he did, that made it easier for him to focus on stuff. So in the morning, you would have seen him sitting even alone sometimes and working on just answering certain questions that will drive the company forward. So he really dedicated time for his work, specific work, if it was the executive work or the creative or just answering emails and being in meetings. That was his time, and he knew that was the time dedicated for it. So I think his brain was primed for his routine. So when it was time for the creative work, his brain probably like got into the creative mode. I'm going to find solution. I'm going to find answers for these questions, because he has been doing it for a long time. So yeah, entering that thought where you think you can multitask is a bad idea. I think you should focus on what you're working on and divide your day according to that, and always have the same time slot to work on that thing. Don't don't start your day one day with content and the next day with working on a project, or the next day you're working on marketing at the same time and on the day. No, have the for example, first part of the day content, second part of the day marketing, third part of the day product, fourth part of the day customer service. That is how it should be, because your brain will rewire itself, and routines are good for us human beings. That's known, and that's backed by science. At the start phase of creating a business, and especially what we just talked about, when there is a lot to do and there's a lot of ideas and priorities that you need to work on, the idea that I keep hearing about work-life balance, honestly, doesn't exist so much. You should not, if you're going to enter this environment of you're going to start your own thing, the idea of having 8 to 4 or 8 to 5, and then you go home and then you don't think about work, doesn't exist anymore. Everything depends on you. So thinking that you're gonna have work-life balance, I don't know, I'm still in my first year, half year, not even that. But the idea of me having the work-life balance doesn't exist. And honestly, I don't want even to have a work-life balance, because it's the only time probably I am gonna be as free as I am today to do as much work as I can. So I'm not even thinking about it. So if I am working until 10 or 9 o'clock at the evening, and even though I've started at 7 or 8 in the morning, so working 12 hours, 14 hours per day, I am not minding it, and I'm actually enjoying it, because the freedom you get from understanding that this is the time for you to do it and go all the way is a very interesting feeling you will have inside of yourself when you realize, this is my time. This is where I need to focus. This is where I need to put the hours. So my advice to you, never enter this environment if you're going to think about work-life balance. Don't do that. Otherwise, understand that there is no work-life balance the first probably 2 or 3 years, and just focus on working, because it's your time, especially if you're young. I am doing this and I am 35 right now. So my work-life balance for me at this age should be a priority, but I am not prioritizing that. So if you are young, you should not even think about any balance at all. You should be obsessed with your work. And right now, I am actually trying to change my mind and shifting it into obsession about my work, about creating this business and about sales and about how to create money, how to market, how to create like a social brand for myself or personal brand for myself. So don't imagine there is a work-life balance when you're starting your journey. Later in life, when you're successful, of course, you can choose to work less if you are earning enough to have like a balanced life and you can be with your family or friends or travel or do whatever you want. But in the beginning, you really need to put a lot of work and a lot of effort. And this is what I'm doing. And I wanted to share that aspect with you guys because I see it as a trend right now, and especially big names actually in the atmosphere right now, in the business atmosphere, in the business environment, they are talking now about the work-life balance they have. But how did they start? Where were they 2 years ago or 4 years ago, or 10 years ago, 20 years ago when they started? How did their life look like? Because I'm telling you, they didn't have balance. They were obsessed. They were working day and night on their goals to achieve them. So don't enter this environment if you're gonna be like, I need some balance, I need to have free time as well. It's gonna be exhausting for you because you will not have that possibility and your brain will crave it the whole time. And at the end of the day, it will drain you instead of having an experience that is giving you so much energy. There is another thing here that I need to talk about because I think it's very important, especially for someone who is just starting, because I am going through this phase right now. There is so many people who are promising if you buy their course, they will give you so much information that will change your life and change your mentality and change the way you view sales and marketing and business and how to do good on YouTube and how to do good on social media. The thing is, like I have not bought any course yet. Well, I bought one, but it's not like a big amount of money or something. It was just a little course about creating content, which actually like you can find the majority of that information online for free if you know who to follow, someone who is good. So I'm guessing when it's cheap, it's not that useful information. You can find it, or it is useful, but you can find it for free. That's what I mean. But I have yet not bought like a big course, an expensive course from someone who is very well known, in, for example, in sales or marketing. And the thing is, I go and attend their webinars, I attend their free workshops, and what they're giving at those are not something that is important or something that will be very effective for someone, especially in the starting phase, to know. Because the majority of them are talking about people who already made it and how to scale or how to sell, but no one is really talking about the first step, how to create your first customer base, how to sell your first product, how to create your first video on social media and create presence for yourself. Very few people are doing that, and yet I have not found one of them that is really giving value. Exchange for money, of course, like buying a course, but I have yet not found someone like that. So I would just give you like this tip: be careful who you buy from. Don't spend your money on people you have not researched or did like a background check about them, and you have not seen what people have said about their courses, the reviews, for example, because that was very useful for me. Of course, you need to filter through the reviews and what people have said, because this world is filled with people who can sell you their reviews. That's something very important to understand. Just because there's a course or a book, for example, that has gotten a lot of reviews and they are good, doesn't mean the course itself is good. Because right now you can buy reviews on basically any platform that gives reviews. Of course, there are some platforms where you need to be a verified buyer or shopper for you to leave a review, but believe me, there's tweaks around that. So just what I want to say, be careful. Don't jump into giving your money and buying expensive courses before you do research and background checks. That's very important. But once I find the right person to, for example, buy a course from, that I think that will change a lot for me. But until I find that right person and understand how to find that right person, it will take me some time. And I encourage you to do the same thing. Take time and don't jump directly into buying courses that are expensive. Understand what is going on. An example of this, actually. So I follow people on social media and business influencers. Like, of course, I've mentioned that many times now. And the time for example, the time for creating funnels, the old funnels, when someone, they see your advertisement and they click on a button, the buy now, and they go into like a very long landing page where there's so much information and like even customer reviews and a video from the person who owns the company himself and all of that information. Then at the end it says buy now for this price. This is called the funnel, and like this is the landing page, and then from that you go to a next page, and yeah, the whole thing is called the funnel. But now all these business influencers are saying funnels doesn't work anymore. What is working is that you need to be present, be visible in front of people. They need to know who you are. And actually, there's a trick I heard here in another podcast I watched, where they said some business people, they are just sending people to their checkout directly. They are not even sending them to a landing page. They are not even sending them into any sort of information page about the product. They are just sending them directly to a landing page, or a checkout page. I don't even know how they do that, but that's what I heard. And they are saying their sales have skyrocketed after that. So, for example, when you go and buy a course about online sales, they will teach you about how to create a funnel. But we just learned that funnels don't work anymore. People have learned that they can just click out or close down the window and they don't have to buy. Before, people like got into the information in front of them and scrolled and watched the video and scrolled and looked at the reviews, but now they can just close it. They have understood that. Psychologically, people have understood that. So we don't sell like that anymore. Now we are selling by, like that person said, sending people directly to the checkout page, for example, or seeing you on social media and believing in you, believing in your product, so they go and buy it without any like tricks or whatever. Another thing I am having a bit of a hard time with right now is when you build your first product or when you build your first service, for example, how much should you include in that product or service? So I said I am building like a course for leadership, for example, and the thing is, I can put so much information. That course will be a 10-day course. But when should I stop? That's one thing I'm struggling with right now, because even though I know a lot and I have read a lot about those books about like leadership and how to run a business and how to run an organization and how to create an effective team, still there is a lot I can learn and put in that course. And there is a lot actually on YouTube, for example, or in very good books that I can incorporate in this course. But where should I stop? How to stop? That is something that I'm struggling with right now, to understand what is giving value and what is going over that to creating a very heavy, very big course that people might enjoy the first part of, but it will be just too much information at the end. They will probably lose interest after a while, because we know it's like after a specific amount of information, people start to lose interest because they cannot retain all that information in a very quick time. So that's one thing I am struggling with. And even it reflects on like the whole spectra with creating my own business. It's like, how much social media should I be on? How many platforms? How much content should I create? So I post 1 time per day on LinkedIn. Should I post twice? I try to put videos on YouTube 5 times per day. 5 times per day. 5 times per week. Should I do more? Should I post 2 times per day on YouTube and other social media platforms? So that's something I am struggling with, because I don't know where should I stop. You listen to some people like in business, some business influencers, and they would say they are posting 4 and 5 times per day. But of course they have teams doing that for them. Still, I can post a little bit more, but I am not doing it because I'm thinking I don't want to like oversaturate my audience with content. At the end, they will lose interest in it because it's a lot of content. I'm not sure if I have like the right idea. I'm just being honest here right now and like just brainstorming. So I have no idea if my mentality is correct when it comes to this. Like I said, I know a lot of business influencers who are saying you should be posting as much as you can to get attention, which is we are in an attention economy. So the more attention you get, the more customers you will get. So I just basically answered my own thought or my own question. But yeah, maybe I should do it or not. But it is something to think about and reflect over. What is enough? What is an MVP, minimum viable product? What is that to start with? And then where should I stop? Even when I'm building a product, where is the stopping point? For a course, for example, how much information should I add? For content, how many times per day should I post? And on how many social media platforms? It is something that I struggle with, and I wanted to share this with you guys, because if you are there and you are starting, I'm sure you'll be a bit struggling with it as well. If you think, like, for example, especially on social media in the beginning, you don't get that many, if you know what I'm talking about, impressions for each post. So should I do 2 posts per day so I can get double as much impressions to get more attention to my profile? Or 1 is enough so my customer doesn't get bored? That is something to think about and reflect over. And of course, everyone's experience is different, and whomever is gonna listen to this, maybe your product is different, maybe you need to be more present, maybe you have like a product that you build and that's it. So you don't have to worry about this. I'm thinking about more if you have a product that you can develop, when should you stop? Yeah, and actually a connected idea, somehow it's connected, but it's the same thing when you don't know where to stop with your product, how much you should add, how much you should build. It's the same thing with the business itself, because the self-doubt is there. You will doubt yourself. When you're starting your journey, you will doubt yourself. You will doubt if you are doing the right thing. You will doubt if you should just take a job and be like everyone else. And you will doubt if whatever you're providing, for example, content, is that value, or you are the only one who thinks it's value, because it needs to be value. It's not, to be totally honest, I am against the idea of posting my breakfast and my workout routine and my how do I clean my house and how do I take care of my plants. That's not my goal. For influencers, maybe that's the goal, just to show more and more and put more content out there. But for me, the goal is to build something to be known for, to be a key person of influence, from Daniel Priestley. That's his idea in his book. So I want to reach that. I want people to know who I am because of my knowledge, and not because of my breakfast or dinner or how much protein I take when I exercise, whatever that is. So self-doubt will kick in, and you need to self-regulate. So here, emotional intelligence is a very important thing for, I think, everyone who is going through a development journey. Development is not only about your business. So it's not only about building a career for yourself or building a business for yourself. Maybe self-development is you are going the journey to understand yourself, because that is also development, or to change something in yourself. And I think emotional intelligence is such a key thing. And I think it is like 90% of self-development. When you have emotional intelligence, when you understand yourself, your emotions, when you can acknowledge, at this moment I'm feeling stressed. Why am I feeling stressed? Let me accept it first, and let me reframe it into excitement, for example, instead of feeling stressed. So understanding yourself, understanding your emotions will be the first step and the key for you to continue this journey, because this journey, I mentioned that in the first video I posted, it's a heavy journey, and it's a lonely and long journey, and you will lose motivation. That's why I don't believe in motivation. I believe in consistency instead. Because today I'm motivated, tomorrow I'm not motivated. And honestly, before I started even filming this video, I was not motivated. I felt tired. I felt that I am drained because I have been doing other work on social media content. So I didn't feel that I had the energy to sit here and record this. But I took a shower, I drank some tea, relaxed a little bit, and then I am here filming again. So I don't believe in motivation. I believe in consistency. And if you say you're going to do something, do that. And that all falls back to emotional intelligence. Because if you understand your emotions, you understand one key thing. They should not control you. Emotional intelligence is all about your emotions seen as data and not something that controls your behavior. If you understand that, you have done probably 90% of self-development work. Because we as creatures are dictated by our emotions. If we feel sad, we will not be able to do certain things. And if we are happy, we don't want to do other things. And it's always about certain emotions. If we are hungry, we have to run and eat. And if we are thirsty, we do the same thing with water. But the reality is, when you're hungry, you don't have to eat. And when you're sad, you can still do the work that you have to do. And when you are not motivated, you can still reframe that and say, no, I said I am going to do it and I will do it, and accept that and go do the thing. But if you believe in motivation and you need to keep always your motivation up here, then I don't see how that will be a real thing, because motivation goes up and down, but consistency is the key. And I think when it comes to consistency, people misunderstand consistency with, I need to do the exact same amount of work every day or every hour, otherwise I am not consistent. That's not how it works. Like, for example, with exercise, some days I have so much energy and I go and kill it at the gym, and another day I don't have that much energy, but I still show up to the gym. I still show up, I still do something, I still do as much as I can, but I don't break my consistency. I don't break it, I continue with it. The key here is to understand that today I have low energy, so I will do 50% of what I usually do, but tomorrow I'll have 100%, then I will do the whole workout. So that's the idea with consistency. Don't think consistency is about doing exactly the same amount of work every day for the rest of your life, because you are a human being and you have emotions, you have energy, you have a body that will get tired, and you will feel different type of emotions. So the key is not to let them control you. The key is that you control them and to do as much as you can every day, but don't break the series. Don't break the chain of actions you have created. I have talked earlier about emotional intelligence, and on my other platforms, on like for example LinkedIn, I have posted some videos about emotional intelligence and how to create that in yourself, or how to achieve that to a certain extent. And I always get the question, what should I do? Is there like an exercise I do to reach that, or to learn emotional intelligence? Or is it something that, like for example, should I meditate for hours and hours and hours to reach that state where I'm zen and my emotions are not bothered by any situation or anything that happens in my life? That's not true. I can tell you from my personal experience, and I have talked to monks, I have meditated, and I still meditate every day, and I journal, and I do a lot of stuff to understand myself and my emotions. I can tell you the following: it's not about any of this. The idea is to understand what you're going through and what you are feeling at the moment you're feeling it. When you are angry, stop and understand, why are you angry? Is it really about what this person in front of you said, or is it about something else that have created a build-up and it came out now because of the situation, for example? So emotional intelligence is not about you meditating or you journaling. Of course, those are tools that will help you a lot. It will help. I journal for a reason, I meditate for a reason, I exercise for a reason, and I sit and think and take walks while I don't listen to anything, and I just think about my thoughts and my emotions and how I'm feeling right now, because that is how you create the awareness around the emotions or the thoughts you have. But without doing that type of work, you will not be able even to stop and think about, why are you feeling like this at a certain moment. So that's the idea with emotional intelligence. You need to control yourself when you have certain emotions. But how to reach that is by trying to understand yourself, trying to reflect over yourself. Put some time every day to reflect, well, at least half an hour per day. And please don't tell me you don't have time. If I can do it, you can do it. So put half an hour per day. If you are journaling and just writing down your thoughts, or you just sit with yourself and understand what you're going through, what did you went through during the day? Did you feel angry? Did you feel motivated? Did you feel like happy? Did you feel fulfilled? All of that, try to understand it. What triggered those feelings in you, and how did you reach it? And if you can, for example, learn how to motivate yourself, or learn how to feel fulfilled, or feel that you have a purpose in life, what has triggered that emotion in you? If you can learn that, that's great. if you can understand at a certain moment during the day, I felt stressed. Why did I feel stressed? Maybe next time I'll do this instead. I reframe the situation. This is emotional intelligence. It's never about sitting like this and doing the lotus pose for like hours and hours just to meditate and say, I meditate per day. That will not give you any value. The value is in you doing the work, reflecting on your emotions, reflecting on who you are, what triggers certain emotions in you, and why that happens. When you get that, you will reach a whole other level of state of mind where you are much less bothered by the environment around you. Even when you start to feel that you are stressed, you will reframe it. When you feel that you are angry, you will reframe it. When you feel that you are hungry, for example, and you don't want to eat at this moment, you will understand that maybe this is because of boredom, maybe because I'm stressed, because for 2 hours ago I ate a good lunch, so why am I hungry again? These stuff will help you in life and will make you reach a whole other level as a human. I think this video is okay for today. I think I have said what I wanted to say, and maybe it's enough actually. Journaling the journey of creating a business is a complex thing. So I start to talk about what I am learning or what I want to raise awareness about, and then I go into emotions and I go into emotional intelligence and other stuff that we need to think about and how to think about those things. So it's a complex thing. It takes out certain emotions, especially in me, and certain ideas, and I actually like it, and I hope whomever is going to listen to this, I hope you guys enjoy it, and I'm going to keep doing this for whomever who is interested in this and for myself for the future. And once again, thank you. If you're listening, thank you. And yeah, see you next time.